29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
22. 21.
20.
19.
18.
17.
16.
15.
14.
13. 12.
11.
10.
9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9.
8.
6.
6. What happened to 7?
7.
5.
4.
3.
2. 1. 0.
Sorry, I'm distracted. I'm talking to someone right now. Hang on a second. Talking with Eric Garza for Garza Custom Knives. Also does a lot of the work on some of the stuff that you see at Monterey Bay. He does a lot of like the carving and a lot of stuff like that. So Eric's a really, really good dude. No notifications. Well, that's because I'm not gonna lie to you. I literally have been so busy today that I am still damp from the shower. I literally just got out of the shower. I've been at it hard today, had a bunch of stuff to do. I got my wife to renege on some of the restrictions now that I'm off my meds and my diet is not as restricted and I'm feeling way better. So I worked until late last night and I've worked enough today that it's only been about 70 degrees today, but I got it up with these, there's a story behind that too. Shop lights and computer and everything running here, filming and doing stuff like that. I managed to get it like to 78 degrees in this garage, almost 80 degrees in this garage, and it has yet to cool down. And I just got out of the shower. I had one of my shop lights break and I had to borrow like an actual light from a friend and tried that. And it worked for some things, but it gets way hotter. It was like, it wasn't an LED light. It didn't give off any more light than an LED, but it definitely got like, it was like a production light, like for filming. And so this thing was hot. I was like, ah, jeez. So I'm like, I can't keep using this. So I took my other LED light apart and I fixed the problem and hopefully it's going to hold. It was a loose wire inside and I had to do a quick, is it on this one? Can I show you what I'm referring to? Yeah, it is on this one, but the cord is so far down. I don't know if I can get it up for you guys. Can you see where I had to fix the cord and then put it back together and use liquid electrical tape? So I just opened up the insulation just enough that I could lift that wire out and basically did a little Western Union on it. And then hey, Eric, I was just telling him about you. So that's Eric Garza. So, all right. So there's like 9 people here. I don't do this often and I'm only going to do it once. I don't like gossip. I don't like talking about shit like this. And I don't like, I mean, I talk about Greg a good bit because I see some of the things Greg's doing. Now, I want to completely be clear on this. I don't have an issue with the message that Greg Medford had, which was, what he says the message was, which was the stomping down of the employees in China and the theft of intellectual property. I don't like either of those things. I don't like either one. I don't. What I had a problem with was the way that Greg pushed that message forward, the way he did it, the imagery he used was very, very out of line. So there's my take on that. You're also going to find a post on my Instagram. I don't very often call people out, and I'm not going to call them out by name here, but there's an individual that we all know that I really don't like all that much. And I never mentioned this. So Shane did it, but he's done 2 videos talking about Greg Medford being a racist POS. And this individual is also the same individual that decided to unleash a barrage of racial comments, anti-Asian racist comments directed at my wife and daughter. And so when I call those people out, I think you can probably figure it out who's done 2 videos about Greg Medford in as many days. I don't have a problem with that. You want to call somebody out for being racist, go right ahead. But if you yourself are doing the exact same thing that can be validated and verified by an entire group of people that were in a live chat together on Thanksgiving when this arose, then you probably shouldn't come out because there's going to be somebody that says something and brings up the receipts. So my friend Shane Gable, who now has a non-private YouTube or Instagram page, posted up his comment on it, which you can see the beginning of what happened. So just saying, that's all I'm ever going to talk about it. You know, my big thing with Greg Medford is, if he was I own my own business. I'm the only employee of said business. If I say something or do something, I'm not risking the employment and livelihood and the livelihood of the people that work for me, because the only thing I'm doing is I'm risking my family's well-being and financial stability. Greg, please, somebody at your business has got to be able to tell you to shut the fuck up, because you're not risking your livelihood. Apparently now you can't buy Medford knives on, I got the garage door open, guys. I'm sorry if that's loud. I can hear the plane. If it's loud, let me know. But now you can't buy Medford knives on Knife Center. And which is sad, because Greg has a lot of employees. And like I said, Greg's knives are incredibly well made. It's just too bad that Greg can't not rage. Greg is a rageaholic. If you guys ever watched that movie, Bullet Wounds? Tom Arnold's character. I'm a rageaholic. So that's just my take on it. That's all I'm going to say about it. Like I've said it a bunch of times. I don't like the things that Greg says a lot of times. I can't disagree about his knives being well made. And like I said, some of the knives that he's doing OEM on are some of the best versions of those knives from a maker, from a designer you will ever see. Case in point, the best production striders that have ever been made came out of Greg's shop. You can't argue that quality. What I can argue is he does not know when to just sit down and shut up. So, but it's Monday, and guys, it's been in my pocket the whole time since I got it. Well, that's a lie. You're going to see a video where I talk about not having it in my pocket. So filmed a lot of stuff today. You're going to see it start trickling out this week. Jared sent me another box of stuff. I was expecting it. I wasn't expecting him to send a bunch of stuff this time, but he sent a bunch of stuff. I filmed 2 of the 3 unboxing videos for that so far, but I also had other things that I had to do. So I've been working on that for a couple of days. Parker is our newest paying member. So let's go ahead and give Parker one of these. So if you own a Medford, I would say sell it while the selling's good, because have I filmed your knives yet? No, I have not. Your knives are the next to be filmed. That's what's sitting on my workbench right now, are your 2 Steingraber Performance knives, fixed blades. I just finished Beardo's. Well, I still have a full review video of the Weirdo's. What one is that? The Drever. So I really do like that knife, though. I'm glad, Beardo Weirdo, I'm glad you sent that along. I like the Drever. The Drever is a really good knife. I'm kind of happy with it. And you'll get to see it make an appearance in one of the unboxing videos. So, but no, they are literally sitting. So there's a little spot over here where there's things queued for videos so that I know what I'm grabbing next. And so, hey, Shop Cat. You blame me for the charge on my PayPal account to Grimsmo. Well, sucks to be you, but you're not going to regret it. Come here. Come here. You're not going to come in? This cocksucker. He's just sitting at the door. Hang on a second. I put the cat in. Go on, man. I have yet to figure out what I can use as a monitor to make sure that the sound effect stuff is working. What about the Spy 27 Native? I didn't sharpen it yet. I'm not gonna lie, Murky, like no joke. I probably have more knives here than you would find at a Cabela's. I did the count, and before the box that Jared sent me showed up, I have 100 knives that are here to be reviewed, or decide whether I'm going to review it, decide whether I'm putting it in pocket, stuff like that. So I apologize. No, I haven't done it yet. So I am feeling a little better. I'm feeling a little better. Rubicon, it's nice to see you. I haven't seen you on here for a while. Other thing, if you are a paying member, I have yet to do that. I've been so busy. I have yet to do the drawing for the paying members to go on the Gilded server. So I have that still to do. And or something else. Oh, I have not scrubbed. So if you're on the Gilded server and you have not paid, know that this is probably your last chance to get any comments in and out of the Gilded server. So if your name is not on the list of paying members, I'm going to scrub that. I'm going to scrub that server today, hopefully after we get done with this. So, Beard of the Weirdo, you're broke. You're broke. Oh, I bet Will B feels broke too. So, if OnlyFans will take an H, they'll take AH. They'll take you, Beardo. Oh, God. Johnny, JD is the only man in history, the first man in history to win an argument with a woman. How I've been doing okay. I'm coming off today is my last doses of those antibiotics. So what I'm dealing with now is I'm taking a lot of really strong antibiotics. They just make me feel like crap. Today is my last day on them, and I'm hoping that shortly after coming off those, I'll be able to take solid shit. I do remember last time when they unrestricted my diet, my immediate thought was like, solid food, solid poop, right? How did I get that math wrong? So I'm sweating. It is it's only 63 degrees outside, and I managed to get this garage up to it's still 75. I can't have alcohol. There's a good chance I'm probably just not gonna have alcohol from now on. I gotta get my water. Gotta add some water. Some water. This is a glass of water. Something. My throat's so dry. I can't drink. What do we do? Glad to hear. Yeah, it's bad. I just can't. There's a lot of stuff I just can't eat that I truly, truly love. I'm not allowed to have any fast food. I'm sorry. There are some exceptions. I can have In-N-Out, but I have to be careful with toppings. I can have Jimmy John's, Firehouse Subs, Jersey Mike's, or Subway. And I can have Chick-fil-A, but not the spicy chicken. I can have the chicken nuggets, their grilled chicken nuggets. So it was 4 degrees this morning. Where the fuck are you at, Matt? I don't know. This chair is going to drive me nuts. Can you guys hear that? Somehow this arm has gotten loose, and I have it cranked down as tight as it'll go. I think I'm going to take the arms off of this chair. It is, unfortunately, I did not think. So I had Jersey Mike's a little bit the other day. Australia. Oh, yeah, well, that's exact opposite. Yeah, it's wintertime there. DCS. What's up, Carlos? So I don't know how this right arm now does that. So if I put my arm on it, and I can't crank it down any tighter. So I think I'm just going to take the arms off of it. The flip side of that is the arms are so far out that you're just not comfortable. You're not comfortable with your arms on it. Look, there's Polly. Gotta slap you nuts. Polly and I filmed the Peanut Butter and Pickles podcast yesterday. It's a lot of fun. If you're gonna when he starts getting them put up, don't at all be surprised that there's no. It's just me and Polly talking for an hour. That's all it is. We talk about different stuff. So, what is this? Getting a Rian? Let's see here. Bait dog. So you can't adjust the arms. No, I can't. This is so. I was able to get this chair pretty much for free. All I had to do was pay the shipping through that product test group thing. But this is what I could get, and it's like their baseline model. So I think tonight I'm going to take the arms off of it because, like I said, the arms are so far out. Like I want the arms to be close so that I can put my elbows on them, but they're like way out here. So my elbows are on the things now. So like even if you're playing games or if you're trying to use a laptop, you're just so far out from being comfortable. So I think I'm just going to take the arms off of it. Polly's an asshole. So I don't know if you guys know this. Polly's an asshole. Like I know he can pick out when I'm can't eat any red meat. I can eat meat. I can just only have like I have to be careful what I can't have. I can't have like a lot of really super processed stuff. I can't have any what was it? I can't have anything with seeds right now, so I can't have tomatoes. So I was gonna make pasta sauce, and I've got 3 cans of San Marzano tomatoes, and I was gonna make some like homemade tomato sauce with pork and beef and all kinds of stuff, and then do some cutlets and some pasta. And I can't even make the pasta sauce now, so it's just gonna suck. Just drill them. I'm just gonna take them off. They're not good armrests anyway. Jared did the same thing because his was pretty far apart too. It's just like I don't like they're a good 2 inches off the chair. So, oh, Robert knocked his tooth out. Well, that's a big old conduct. That's a big old goofy conduct for you. So yeah, I mean, like I said, that's if you want to hear anything about the whole my take on the Medford thing, go watch the first 6 minutes of this video. So, what's everyone got going on and in pocket? Pocket check. I have my Norseman. That's the only thing I'm carrying right now because I just got out of the shower. So I had other stuff in my pocket. I'm not spending any. You know what? This was my favorite. This was my favorite price for a chair there. This is my favorite price for a chair there, Carlos. Free 99. I paid shipping, and that was it. Hogue Deca in Magna Cut. Jesus Christ, this dude. Seriously, he's going to sit out there and rev his fucking engine. My knife? I'm not working on a knife. Can you guys hear that? Is that like incredibly loud or is it just me? I don't know which knife we're speaking of. Working on putting together a bunch of knives. I finished carrying the PJ User Rosie. Hogue Ritter RSK. It's just you. Nope. Okay, cool. Good, because I can definitely hear that motorcycle. So I had in pocket today. I had, what did I have today? I did the final. I really didn't have that much in pocket. It's loud. Go out there. The sea snake. The sea snake's going fine. I mean, they're still selling them, I guess. I saw some pictures from Blade Show, from the artisan table where they had them in the case. They had 3 different versions of them there that I saw. Haven't you heard that? Constant. Just constant. Dawn, it's Aden, A-D-A-N. It ends with an N, not an M. I didn't go to Blade. Are you talking to me, Matt? I didn't go to Blade Show. I've been here. I wasn't allowed to travel. So you saw an S35 version of the C-Snake. Yeah, you saw the S35. Those are the expensive version of the same knife. And I was like, if I was going to buy one of them, I definitely would have bought the ARPM 9 one, because as I like S35VN to a point, but I definitely like the ARPM 9 better than S35VN. People are like, oh, you're just saying that because that's what the knife is made out of, and they're like wanting you to hype it. And I'm like, no, I actually do like it better. So I don't. This just drives me nuts that one side of my beard is very, very clearly growing faster than the other side and is longer. It just drives me nuts. And I know a lot of it's an optical illusion and shadows and stuff, but it definitely drives me nuts that I can see it in the video. So, friend Proxy for me and got me more maker stickers and a coin I wanted from Blade. They're definitely, you're not going to be able to compare the two. That's like comparing 20 CV to RWL34. The S35, or not the S35, the 14C28N is going to be much more aggressive at any grit. The thing you're going to find with ARPM 9, when you take it up above about 1,000 grit, it starts to slick. You lose the tooth. It's such a fine grain structure, and you don't have that with 14C. Ooh, a 1912 Indian or a 26 or 2006 Harley Davidson Fat Boy. I don't know. I like the Indians. The Indians are nice. They are nice. They're a good looking motorcycle. They're a little bit big. So, I mean, yeah, you're talking about a Sandvik steel versus a powdered metallurgy budget steel. I mean, don't get me wrong, ARPM 9 is great. What it has going for it is it strops up better than any steel really that I've came across. 154 CM will strop up, but not to like I've gotten ARPM 9 like dull, like it won't cut. You can't cut paper with it, and then stropped it, like it just tears paper, or it's not cutting, it's just ripping paper. And I've went from that right back to like hair, arm hair shaving. Not like, we're not talking like hair popping, but like shaving your arm kind of sharp in just a matter of a few minutes, just dropping it on newspaper. So it's got some unique qualities to it, and I like that, because what that means is it's got enough stability versus brittleness that it's going to roll a little bit instead of chipping. Because I can clean up a roll on a strop or a ceramic rod. I can't take a chip out on a strop or a ceramic rod. So it's just definitely a different animal. I've been shaved with a straight razor only. Never shaved with a straight razor only one time. So I shaved with a straight razor enough times that I actually, when my wife and I would go somewhere, I would shave my wife's legs with a straight razor. I gave my best friend a straight razor shave. Like, there were people around and they're like, I had the straight razor out and I cleaned it up, and I was there. He's like, oh, fucking, I wouldn't let you shave me. And I was like, I'll give you a shave. Like, I can do it. Like, if I can shave myself, I can definitely shave. Like, shaving yourself is actually harder than shaving someone else, because you can move their head around, you can move the chair, you can pivot around. When you're shaving yourself, you're stuck like in specific positions with the straight razor. And so he was like, I'll let you shave me. And everybody's like, oh, you're crazy. I stropped that thing up and I got done. And he was like, that is the cleanest fucking shave I've ever had. I was like, I've shaved with a straight razor since I was like 14. Obviously, now I don't. The big thing you have to remember about shaving with a straight razor is don't be nervous when you start. Don't like come back from a run. And don't drink any coffee, because if your hands are shaky and you got a really clean, fresh edged straight razor, or one like some of mine that are like, for some reason, straight razors are always measured in eighths. And I have some 8/8 and 9/8 straight razors really wide, like an inch and an eighth. And when you've got those super sharp blades, and any shake, if your hand shakes because you had a cup of coffee, you put that blade to your face and it's like, and you're like, you got two little lines. You're like, ooh, hey, maybe I go to work without a shave today. So, yeah, how was the edge on that? Was that a nice, fine, clean edge on that? The times that you used it? That was such a nice razor. That was a good antique razor that Carlos picked up, and I sharpened it. Man, that was a good looking razor. Do you enjoy sharpening straight razors? I enjoy sharpening anything. The problem you run into with some of the longer, the longer blades, like kitchen knives and stuff. If you're trying to do it on smaller stones, which I've done it on the 1-inch wide stones, it's it's harder to maintain. The longer the knife, like anything you're doing, the further you are away from it, the less control you have over it, which is one of the reasons I think that I've started to gravitate towards smaller knives. I have more control for the things that I do on a day-to-day basis. So smaller knives are easier to control at the very front. You've got more control. Kitchen knives, like the big long kitchen knives, I don't like them as much. I don't use them as much. I have a 7-inch Bowie shaft that if I could have it my way, it would be about 1.5 inches shorter, because it's easier to control. So when you're sharpening, that feel of lack of control that you have in a larger knife, you have it more pronounced because you're trying to maintain an angle on that all the way through, and you're also trying not to slip off the stone and stick it in your hand. And you guys have seen videos. I definitely did stab all the way through my hand with a fillet knife that I was sharpening for my buddy Tino. So I usually don't drink coffee anyway. My dad performed the shave. He said not to use the straight razor without him there. He had to strap it several times because it's a cheap one. Yeah, that's a problem. You know what people do too, is people will strap the razor right after they shave before they put it away. And I was like, you will fuck your edge up like that. You got to let that blade rest, and it'll kind of bring itself back into alignment. And then the strap does even more. But if it's really bent, if that edge is all bent out of shape because your beard hairs knocked little spots on that edge, and then you immediately strap it, you can break some of them off, and then you wind up with an edge that looks like this. Ooh. So if you let it rest, that'll start, because it has a memory. It's like a spring. It has kind of a memory, and so it'll bring itself a little bit further in alignment, and then your strap will bring it right back up nice and clean. So what is up? What is up, brother? You posted up that fucking Instagram post, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring that up. I didn't name anybody, but I definitely brought it up. So, yeah, it's good. I hate hypocrisy. If you're going to be a hypocrite, like I said it in your post. I can't argue what the message Greg had about like the theft of intellectual property. The delivery is what was lacking. It's like, I'm going to put it to you this way. Like, I found the shirt offensive. I'm pretty, like, I don't get offended about a lot, but that was definitely offensive. And that was the point. And you know he did it on purpose. And Greg absolutely is risking his business and his employees' well-being. But having a good message and delivering it badly is no different than making the most decadent, beautiful dessert that you can make in a pastry shop and serving it in a cat pan, like a litter pan. I'm not gonna fucking eat that. If a company wants to support Pride Month, that's fine. If I don't agree with their messaging, I just won't support that channel or that business by purchasing things, which is why, like I said, that's why I buy Coffee Brand Coffee now. That's why they're my affiliate. I don't buy Starbucks. So, bye, Polly. I don't have the energy to deal with you tonight. Polly's in timeout. Bye, Polly. Don't worry, I turned my phone off, so don't worry about it. I won't hear the horror. I won't hear the phone ring and things like that. I don't have the energy to deal with you tonight, Polly. So someone said pancakes. No, I said cakes. I do believe that we didn't have a name for the color until we had the fruit, or I don't remember. My daughter and I got into this, and she told me the historical thing. Like, we named the color after the fruit, or we named the fruit after the color. I'm not sure which way it went, but I definitely know that she and I talked about it. So, I will say that I told my daughter something today, because my daughter knows. My daughter knows that I get into the devil lettuce and stuff, and I told her, I was like, hey, you know what? Right now you can't, because you're not old enough, and you absolutely are an athlete, and I don't, if you don't ever do it, that's fine. So, what are you talking about, Dave? So there's I don't care about anyone's sexuality. I'm just like, shut up about it. I don't fucking care. I don't want to hear it. So, at any rate, I told my daughter, I was like, as someone who does partake in the jazz cabbage, the devil's lettuce, I hate being the first person at the line at a stoplight. It's like the level of responsibility there is more than I want, because I'm not going to go when that light changes, and people are behind me are relying on me to pay attention, and I'm just not going to. I was coming back from a buddy Tino's house. I stopped at a stoplight and waited for it to change. Or stop sign. I stopped at a stop sign. I literally sat there. I'm like, there's something I'm supposed to be doing. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. That doesn't change colors. It's a stop sign. So I just like I don't like being the first person at the stoplight, because you look like an idiot when you sit there for like 5 seconds. She's like, don't worry, I got you. So pull up. I said that. We were coming off the interstate to come to the house, and the light was red, and I was the first car. And she looked at, like, I'm sitting there, and I saw it turn green. She's like, you gonna go? I was like, oh, thanks. It's just like, I gave you a good 5 seconds. She's like, I was just like, you get to a stoplight, light change, you're like, there's something I'm supposed to be doing. Beep. Thanks. Forgot. Lost it there for a second. The proper response is, did you just say orange 8 times in one sentence and actually make sense when somebody says that? Yeah, right? I don't like it. Like, the other thing I don't like is when I walk from the garage where the studio is into the house with a distinct purpose, and in the 7 feet it took me to travel across the floor of the garage to the garage door, I've completely lost it. I was like, I was going in there for something, and I'm like, the hat doesn't fit with the headphones. We'll do a PDM. I'll just have to use that, because if we do a PDM, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to watch the cutlery corner. So what was this? No, I'm not Shane. What? Shane, what did Shane say? Oh, I got you. Different Kyle. Kyle. So I want a cup of coffee, but it's 8 o'clock at night. If I have a cup of coffee, I'm not going to sleep again tonight, which is another. You guys ready for this? So I'm on 3 different medications. One of them really doesn't have that many side effects. It just tastes horrible. It's just really, really bitter, and it's powder, and I have to drink it. I'm like, so I have one medicine that causes fatigue and sleepiness. It's not like it's an antibiotic, but it causes extreme fatigue. And so I sit around, and all I want to do is go to sleep. And I'm like, oh God, I just want to rest. I just want to go to sleep. But the other medicine that I take, which is another antibiotic, causes a sleeplessness, restlessness, and headaches. So you're going to see a video that went up, and we can't tell my wife about it because I absolutely was not supposed to do this last night. I couldn't sleep. I got out of bed. I came out here, was editing a video, realized the audio was screwed up. And at 1 o'clock this morning, I was filming an intro and outro for a video that I had filmed earlier in the day. I tested out. I bought a Bluetooth wireless mic for my computer, or for my phone, and I wanted to try it out because people said it was good, and it was a lavalier that didn't have a cord, so there wouldn't have been as much. I could clip it anywhere. It was like a Rode style, and I was like, cool. and I tried it, and I didn't like the audio quality. And I was like, man, this sucks. So I was like, I'll take it back. And I filmed the intro and outro for a video after I had filmed the body of the video. I did not realize that after I had tested it, between testing it and putting it away and then shooting the intro outro, I forgot to turn that Bluetooth microphone off. And so the entire intro outro sounded like because it was inside a box on a shelf, and it was only picking up the audio that came through the box and the foam it was packed in. And so it sounded like I had a pillow over my face. It didn't sound robotic, Aiden. It was way too tinny. There was no bass to it. It was all treble. It just did not sound good. I'm not a big fan of the way this microphone sounds, but at least it picks up and it's clear, and I don't have anything in my face that I'm bumping. And, you know, it allows me a little bit of some latitude of things that I can do and stuff like that. And then, you know, I can do the voice changer and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. And I didn't buy this. This was a gift. I had a friend that had bought this and he didn't need it. And he had a better microphone. So he sent me this for free. So get Shure or Center. Here's the thing. Right now, my budget is free or close to free. So the microphone that I picked up was a $60 or $70 piece of equipment. And I'm not gonna lie, it picked up everything I said, and it picked it up clearly, but it was really, really tinny. And if you go and you watch Shreetip's YouTube channel, it was like that. It was really like over the top, picked up a lot of weird audio and everything where you could hear it. There was a hum. And so I was like, yeah, you know what? So I'm taking it back. I have to take my daughter's phone back because we had to replace my daughter's phone. This is an expensive proposition. Kids are expensive. Kids are expensive. What's up? What do you call a microphone with bad sound? Useless junk. There's a filter. There's something that you're supposed to plug it into that it runs through. But for the phone, it doesn't have that. And I couldn't use it. Like I could use it here, but I have this. And this sounds great. So why bother using that setup and having to charge it and all that stuff when I have this and I can plug it in? I finally found I couldn't use this when I did the podcast with Polly. I couldn't find one of the cords for this whole setup. Did you mention? No, you didn't. That's a hell of a gift. Sebenza. I never got a Sebenza gifted to me. I can't lie, though. I've had a bunch of shit gifted to me. I've got some really, really cool knives that have come into the channel. They were passing it to you via Shane. Oh, I know what I forgot. I'll be right back, guys. Hang on just a second. Give me just a second. I'll be right back. Well, I thought that I took it in there. Maybe I left it out here. Hang on just a second, guys. There it is. I did find it. So you guys are going to see this as part of an unboxing. I know you already saw it on Jared's channel, but the creator, the maker. Sorry about the dead air there for a second, but this is that, what's that, Steel City. This is that Steel City custom Pical. And so the guy had Jared send it to me. I'm going to do a video about it. This is such a really good self-defense knife. So this, I actually had this in pocket for a little bit today. And it uses a utility clip, ulti clip, pocket clip. I'm going to get one of these for my little day-to-day self-defense carry. So this is something that I'm really digging. I've taken martial arts for years, but I never took any real martial arts where I would use a pikal. But the fact is, I don't think you would really need to. Like if you're carrying this the right way and it's in your pocket, it comes straight out of your pocket like this. And ulti, ULTI. I don't know what it's a ULTI, ulti clip. So something like this, there's no thought. Like everybody knows how to hammer fist. Everybody knows how to reach out and grab. And so there's some knives that are just instinctively a self-defense thing. So that's the only purpose this would serve. So I am going to do a video. I was hoping that this would get here. It did get here. I'm going to reach out to the maker, the guy that built it, and find out all the specs on it so I can do a video. But this is probably something if you need a small self-defense knife, this is something that you could remember. You could definitely pick up. It really doesn't have a lot of everyday use to it. It's definitely something that would be self-defense. There's a couple knives like that. Push daggers are kind of like that. They don't require a lot of training. They're just like push daggers. I wouldn't say karambits, especially not a folding karambit. There's some deployment like that. Spyderco, Civilian, and Matriarch 2 series, same kind of thing. Great self-defense tools, and I think I dig this a lot. So you're going to see that it's that edge. So in hand, that blade comes back at you, so it's like a claw. It's like a claw. So there's your grip, and it takes a minute to get used to because it sits in your pocket like this. So the clip is forward, and that way when you reach down and you grab it, it comes out like this, and you can just claw. You don't have to have a lot of, yeah, exactly. It's pikal. That's what this type of knife is called. It's called a pikal. And so I'm digging this, and I mean, it is serious. It's seriously a well thought out, well built little piece of kit. My buddy Jake over at Jacob Ginsburg over at Jacob Ginsburg Knives, Jacob Creates, makes a dill pikal. He makes his with green handles, hence dill pikal. It's pretty cool, and it's the first time I've really carried one for more than, let's see, I started filming the stuff for the unboxing of stuff that Jared sent me. Let's see, Sunday night, Saturday morning, Sunday night. So I've had this in my pocket. So this is going to get its own review. It is going to be part of an unboxing. I did not do it in any specific order. Sometimes I took the clips. So you're going to notice that the intro outro is pretty generic. It's because I shot intros and outros, and then I moved the clips around so that I could do stuff. So you're going to see this is in the third video, but I actually filmed those segments on, I think, Sunday or Saturday night. I can't remember. It got here from Jared really fast. Jared sent me a lot of really cool stuff. So I literally have, I want to say I got like 30 of Jared's knives here at the house. I got one box of them that's ready to go back, one that I just broke into for starting to do a review, and one that I'm unboxing right now. So the stuff you're going to see unboxed, you won't see on the channel for a couple weeks at least, until I get through the other box that Jared sent me, like that steel, that real steel, and that Iron Man mini, that Latvian mini Iron Man configuration. That's still stuff to do. I've got both of I have the crawler and the Abyss from Arcane Knives. So like I said, literally just in Jared's stuff, I've probably got 40 knives here easy. Then I got some stuff that came in. A guy sent me some stuff, and he's like, hey, if you don't want to review it, that's fine. It's not all great stuff. Jets flying over. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of stuff here. And then I still have stuff from Marky Ocean. I've got stuff from Beard of the Weirdo. I've got stuff from Tri-State. It's just so much. And then I've got a bunch of stuff in for sharpening that I haven't even gotten a chance to touch. So if you have stuff here, like Ken Harris, if your stuff is here, I forget who else's stuff is here. It hasn't got touched. And there's some stuff here that I sharpened, but I just haven't had a chance to get out because I've been limited on how much I can drive. So plus it's expensive to drive anywhere right now. So appreciate everybody showing up for that live feed, the Left Behind that we did. Yeah, I'm digging this. This thing, it just comes out of the sheath just in the right grip, and it doesn't feel like it's going to come out of your hand. Like, it definitely feels solid. So as far as self-defense, hit up Steel City Customs. Apparently from what he said is he got attacked one time and decided to make the self-defense tool that he wanted, and he made some other stuff too. He's got a little spike that he makes that's in a Kevlar thing with a loop on it, things like that. So pretty cool. So I'm sitting here looking, trying to think. I had some stuff thought out. Camera that I'll be able to use will be a Canon DSLR. I'll get an adapter that allows me to connect it directly to the laptop so I don't have to pull footage from the card. I just use my phone. Like, all those videos you guys see, they're pretty clear. They're pretty good. I shoot them from my phone. So it's definitely a lot easier for me because put it on my phone. If I decide I'm going to keep it, it saves it on the cloud. I can airdrop it right to my computer. I don't have to connect anything. I prefer to use, I know a lot of people don't like Apple. I prefer to use Apple because it's simplistic. It's really easy to use their editing software. It's still time consuming. You know, I have to do audio edits, and I have to do green screen, and I have to do a combination of footage, and I have to do transitions, and I have to do some overlap for music and stuff, figure out where I want music to start and end and stuff like that. But I mean, overall, compared to doing it with, I tried doing OBS. I tried using like Adobe. Somebody let me use their Adobe, and I was trying to do it, and I was like, this is too complicated. So, well, if you take the time to learn it. And I was like, here's the thing, I don't have time to learn it. Like, I don't have that kind of time. And so anything that I can use that makes it easier, hence using my cell phone, my Apple iPhone 12 with a really good camera works perfect because I got news for you. I film in 4K. If you have an 8K TV, YouTube still doesn't support 8K uploads. So you're still only seeing 4K. The fact is, most people don't even have 4K, and most people don't watch 4K on any of their devices because it takes so much bandwidth. So most people are still using 1080p. So what I found is, if I film in 4K and then render it in 1080p, you don't lose much. That stepping back does not lose you much. It really doesn't. Now, if I film it in 1080p and I post it in 1080p, you do lose a lot. But filming it in 4K and then posting it in 1080p works great. Comes out great. My 10-year-old knows how to use my iPhone better than me. iPhone's easy. The iPhone iOS is really good. Why is this so hard to get this to work? Is this choppy for you guys? I use 4K on here. Somebody said, I heard that Final Cut is really good on MacBooks. But you ready for the other reason that I like using Apple iMovie? It came with the computer. It doesn't cost me anything. All the music you hear, all the graphics that you see. Well, the graphics I make. So the backgrounds that you guys see, I find little video clips and I expand them and I make them longer. I find stuff and I turn it into the backgrounds that you guys see. I do my own thumbnails. So like, it's all time consuming. Like, people are like, so what? You could do this part-time. I'm like, to put out the amount of content I do? No, not really. Yeah, it goes blurry for a minute. I've got to, damn it, I got to turn my phone back on. You guys are going to hear asteroids here in a second. I got to turn my phone back on so I can prioritize this device. So, yeah, everybody that went to Blade Show, I'm glad you guys all had fun. And to tell you the truth, you can all fucking piss up a rope. I mean, I can't say it. Even if it hadn't been for the cost of everything, and the fact was that like I didn't have a ride to get there, and I couldn't have went for money reasons. But the fact was, even if I had the money, I couldn't have went anyway. My doctor wasn't gonna let me travel. Like I really am not supposed to be doing much of anything. Like they're still worried about like the only reason I went home from the hospital as quickly as I did was their concern was because I have an autoimmune disorder and I take immunosuppressors, that they didn't want me to get sicker in the hospital. They wanted me to stay through the first week. And I was like, man. So, but they got to a point where the hospital was filling up and they're like, we don't want to put you in here with someone that's coming in that we don't know what they may also have besides the fact that they're, up here in internal medicine. We don't want you getting sicker in the hospital. So they sent me home. No, MacBooks don't come with anything that's not Apple. They come with iMovie. You're not going to find a MacBook that's shipped with any non-Apple product. So I am drastically trying to quickly get over here to Smart Home and prioritize this device. So you can probably get it with it. You could probably order it as an add-on, but like if you just buy an off the shelf, I'm not seeing anything. I've never seen any Mac unless it's the brand new ones. This is not that old of a laptop. This is a MacBook Pro. I think this is a 2020 MacBook Pro. And I got it. It was hang on a second. Prioritizing this device. It was refurbished. So it was they had went through all the shit, and I got it for my mom got it for me. My mom was like, "Look, I haven't gotten you anything since you were like 19." She's like, "You're in your 40s." She's like, "Let me do something." I was like, "I don't need it." She got my daughter a laptop for school, and I was like, she got my wife a MacBook, or not a MacBook, but an iMac, like the big, huge iMac, and I was like, "Wow, that's cool, thanks." And she was like, "What about you?" And I was like, "I don't need it." And then I used my daughter's MacBook for something, and she was like, you want that, don't you?" I was like, I don't need it. I was like, I can still do it the way I'm doing it. And the next thing I know, she got it for me, and it has a touch bar that you can do. What do you mean you want to watch other stuff? There's other stuff to watch. Anybody else doing a live feed tonight? Because if there's somebody else doing a live feed, I'll stop. No, Final Cut is $300. Yeah, okay. See, there you go. You can get Final Cut, and the fact is, like, I don't need a $300 editing suit when the one that's free on this thing works just fine. I've always been a PC. I was until I got this, and I'm like, actually, you know what stopped it for me? My wife had an Apple. She had a Mac. She had an iMac, one of the big tabletop, like everything's inside the screen. She still has it. It's on the kitchen table. Like that's her. She watches Japanese TV and stuff on it. She got one of those, and we literally used it for 7 years and never had a problem with it. In the 7 years that she had that iMac, I went through 4 PCs. And I was like, yeah, we're not doing that again. Colton always exits with that statement. Yeah, I've seen it. I'm busting his balls. So, yeah, it's been about an hour. I don't think I want to keep going much more than an hour. I have a bunch of other stuff to do. So, we definitely will be doing a Wednesday feed. I have some ideas of what we want to do. I will say, I talked with Israel over at Arcane Knives today, And he and I talked about it, and I think we're going to try and do a live stream with him, like podcast style, question and answer, stuff like that. I think we're going to talk about that on Friday. Unless there's something you guys want to talk about. If you guys, hey, Breeze is here. All right, well, Breeze just showed up. I guess we'll stick around. Breeze just showed up. Hey. So, what's your cousin up to? Did he make it back from Atlanta yet, or did they hold him up at customs? They're like, sorry, sir, we need to strip search you again and again and again. That's horrible. Oh, excuse me. Our school district was the only all Apple district in the area. Give the life of the party. It's a dead man's party. You guys know that song. I wanted to get, there is one thing that Jared sent me. The box stuff that Jared sent me is here. The stuff I have not reviewed yet is up there. I'm trying to find the one that I did really like that Jared sent. It's not that one. Cavity search. By Big Bertha. He likes the cavity search. It wouldn't. That's not it. So guys, just because knives show up doesn't always mean they get a review. Sometimes you'll see a knife. I said, somebody asked me like, wait, you did the unboxing and you did the unboxing of all those knives, but I never saw that knife again. And I'm like, there's a reason. Some knives I just don't like, but there's no real like distinct reason. It's not like they're fucking horrible. It's just not a knife that I like. And so there's a lot of times that like those videos just don't feel, there it is. The Gavco Thresher. I didn't get one of these when they came out. And the reason was it was so similar to the Gavco Farronforge Collab spinner that I had that I was like, I just don't see it. And I kind of feel as though I made a mistake because I say it in the unboxing. This is probably not a knife I would use a lot because as much as it's comfortable, it's not comfortable for a lot of cutting. But the aesthetics of it are really, really good. And so I kind of feel as though I kind of made a mistake by not getting one of these. But the nice thing is I know several people that have these and I can just borrow one for a little bit. So this is a very cool knife and I'm really happy it showed up. I'm glad Jared sent it to me. But the fact is now I miss my spinner that is at Tri-State EDC's house. So I might have to get Mr. Tri-State EDC to figure out what knives he's going to do a review about and send me back everything else. So I know he wants to do the DOC and something else, but like the other stuff, I kind of wanted to send that. And then there was another knife in here that's kind of unique. You're going to see these starting, I think I might have put up one of the unboxing videos tomorrow. I can't remember. But this is a cool little Kubi. So this thing has got some really good action. I like this. This is the Monster Dog. Monster Dog. I had a pair of sunglasses. Do you guys remember when? Who fucking makes those? They make the same sunglasses I have. They made Monster Dogs and they had gas cans and fuck, I can't think of the name of the company. What's going on with my brain? I can't remember stuff. Is that the pizza nipple thumb stud model Monster Dog? I like the thumb studs on it. I think they're cool. That's a neat knife. I dig it. Like it's pretty interesting. I wish it had a little bit more to stop you from coming up and over. I didn't mention it in the unboxing, but I've played with it a little bit. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I really dig it. The fact that I can't think of the name of the sunglasses brand that I own really, really is bothering me. I have a pair. I have a pair of straight jackets. Just can't think of the name of the brand. Yeah, this thing is a little beefy little Oakley. There you go, Oakley's. Oakley's made a pair of sunglasses called Monster. They had the Monster dogs and they had the Monster pups. I think I had Monster pups. The Monster dogs were a little bit, they stuck out away from my face too far. So yeah, these two are pretty cool. This one and the Thresher. It's got a weird blade to handle ratio though. So, but yeah, there's a lot of things. A lot of things are going to change here with me for like diet and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure of it. I think that this might be a permanent thing that I have to deal with. So I'm pretty sure that like my diet has got to completely change. And before Dave Mata says anything about it, has nothing to do with ham, has everything to do with certain things that I eat that can get down there that don't properly digest. It's not the fats. It's definitely things with seeds and stuff like that. What was this? Oh, you work at a dirt track? Where at? I love, man, I'm going to go. That's the next order of business is me, Nico, and Matt have to go to Paris Auto Speedway out here and watch the USAC CRA sprints. Up the track and said, can't sit outside on the weekends without dust and extreme loud engines. Yeah, it's a racetrack. It's a dirt racetrack. I've got Maui gyms with prescription. Those things are amazing. Yeah, Shane, the stories are true. We all lived it. I got the fuck out before something bad happened. I don't know what you guys' side conversation looks like. So, Robert, you're not making a lot of sense. Get some broccoli. You want some broccoli? You want some broccoli? Johnny got some broccoli. Here you go. Have some broccoli. Have some broccoli right there. Broccoli skull. Dirt track, dirt racing is awesome. USAC CRA. Some of those guys up there at Paris Auto Speedway and then up in Lemoore and places like that. It's amazing watching some of that. By the way, thanks again, Johnny. I wonder why there's he was an idiot. And anybody that knows anything about going to a racetrack, we were at my buddy Clint and I went to Copper on Dirt in Tucson here a few years ago. It was the season opener for USAC CRA. And so we drove out there. It was a 2-night thing. We slept in the car. And the first night we got out there and I was like, man, it looks like it could. And he goes, don't say the word. And I'm like, I'm not going to say it, but it looks like it could. He was like, I know, you feel it, you can smell it. He's like, it's like, I'm hoping we don't lose a night of the race. And I was like, well, at least maybe they can get started. And so they were tire packing. They were tire packing the track they were rolling out tire packing the clay. And this dude walks in with an umbrella. Man, everybody looked at him. They had just started doing heats and time trials and shit. And it started raining. It started raining hard, and it didn't stop. And that dude, like everybody's just like dirty, stink eyeing this dude. You don't go to a racetrack with an umbrella. That's like being in the car and having somebody go, well, at least traffic's not bad. Like, you're a fucking idiot. Like, well, it's a long drive. But yeah, it's a good thing. At least traffic's not bad. And you're like, you just want to punch that dude in the head. You're like, yeah, you know what kind of bad juju you just brought down on us? Sure as shit, like the next exit. You come around the corner to the next exit, you just see cars stacking up. You're like, this is your fault. I blame you for this. I work in the middle, so when they get spun out, roll over to me, etc. Crew guys. Yeah. Have I ever heard of Eldora? Yeah. Oh, look, Polly's back. Watch this. Hey, Polly. Hey, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to push the time out. Eldora is right down on the Ohio border. I've been to Eldora. That's where Brady Bacon's home track is, or at least it used to be. He was racing out of Ohio. Eldora is right down there. Is that Is that on the Indiana? Is that on the Indiana Ohio border or the Illinois and Ohio? I can't remember. It's down there on the border, so it's on the west. It's on the west coast of Ohio, or the west coast, the western border of Ohio, where Eldora is at. Yeah, that's like I said. I think that's Brady Bacon's home track. So Polly's an idiot. I don't know if you guys know this. Here's the thing with Polly. Like, Polly likes to give me a hard time, but Polly got a Purple Heart for a glorified splinter and a bump on the head. So I don't know who's crying. And I got to get out because I got this splinter and I bumped my head. So yeah, Eldora's a big track. They run trucks there too. I think they run the NASCAR trucks at Eldora on dirt. I think they don't. They used to. I've seen them run NASCAR. I've seen it on Loud Pedal. They'll run the NASCAR trucks on dirt. Not often though. So, but I think Eldora is where it's at. Purple Heart Barbecue. I mean, I got an ingrown toenail barbecue. I guess just doesn't sound as good. So. Polly, how do you like the new Pride helmet? That's what you should do, Polly. You did War Helmet nachos. You should do a Pride helmet nachos. And then be like, not eating this. Throw it away. Like, I don't want this. That's a good question. So I talked to Polly. I was thinking about it, like, because Polly has a barbecue channel. If you guys don't follow Purple Heart Barbecue, you probably should. If, like, I know Breeze likes to do it. Breeze, if you want to throw up Polly's a link to Polly's YouTube channel. Polly was all butthurt because Polly Pissy Pants, Polly put up a short and he got no views. And I'm like, bro, what do you want? Fucking YouTube is a fickle thing. It's like one day something will get like 12,000 views, one day it won't get any. So but that would be funny. Like, Pride helmet nachos, and then just like walk over to the trash can, like have it like on a GoPro, like just throw it in the trash and not eat it. Oh shit, that's right. I was supposed to make you a mod. If somebody that is a mod, like maybe Aiden, could post up, I would appreciate it if you posted up Polly's YouTube channel. Go give it a look, because I mean, like, I worry about him. Like, Polly's volatile, and he's like, I can't take it. I want to shut the fucking channel down. And I just worry about him. It's all cutting. I don't care. I'm not going to get into that. Like I said, like if that's something you want to support, I don't care. I honestly don't give a shit. Like, if any of you here are trans, hey, good, live your best life. I don't care. Just shut the fuck up about it. I don't have to hear it every second of the goddamn day. That's why I stopped watching sports. If I can have your opinions, I don't care. Just stop fucking up my hobbies with it. So, like, shit, I got to deal with this shit everywhere. Like, I can't. I'm tired of this. Fucking, can't you just like? I don't talk about every little aspect of my life 24 hours a day. Why can't you just shut up? Just had Hillary's on last Friday. I will tell you. So I have a friend, Anthony, and Anthony's married to another dude. Two of the best dudes I know. I love them to death. They found out I live down here, which is actually kind of close to where they did a weekend thing where they stayed. One of their friends got them a weekend stay at Hotel Del Coronado, which is a very, very, very famous hotel out here in the San Diego area. It's on the Coronado. It's on Coronado Island, and it's a beautiful place. I've always wanted to go there for like their champagne brunch and stuff, just once with me and the wife. And then we had a kid, and like all of our money got like sucked into this little black hole that's now 15 years old. And so but they got gifted a weekend there by like one of their parents. So they were out and about, and they were down towards where I'm at because it's at the other end of the Strand. I'm really not that far. It's a really close shot. And they're like, oh, we should stop by. And I was like, okay, cool. And so I love both these guys to death. They're a lot of fun, but I don't know if you have gay friends, but when they're drunk, they are the worst. It was like a sitcom. I was sitting there and I'm like, this is great. I wish I could have filmed it. Like like the one of them was crying about how happy they were that we finally got out of that place and like the house that we were living in, and like, oh my God, it's so great. You guys are here. This is fun. And I was like, you guys are drunk. And it's horrible. And you're just a big emotional mess. And I really can't deal with this right now. So you gotta toughen it up a little bit. Like we keep having a few beers, but you guys gotta, like, I can't deal with, like, I have a moody, emotional, hormone driven teenage girl that cries all the time anyway. I don't need it from you two in my garage. Please dry it up a little bit. Look at him and go straighten up, but I thought that would be insensitive. Oh, so I mean, like, I don't care. I love those two dudes. They're a lot of fun. It's just not when they're drunk. Like when they're drunk, they're just all moody and crying and just whimpering. And my wife was looking at me. She's like, I don't like this. I'm like, I don't either. But what am I going to say? You got to get the fuck out. What is this? 8 says, I'm young, and when I was still in middle school, I got sat at an art table with a lesbian, trans, and a bisexual girl. Not fun. They hated me. You know what? I get along. I honestly can tell you, I get along with pretty much everyone. I really do. I don't have an issue with anyone. I just, like I said, like it's no different than like if somebody's not a knife guy. Like I'll tell you, I've had people like, can you just shut up about the fucking knives for a little bit? And I'm like, what? And they're like, just shut the fuck up about the knives. I don't need to hear it. Like every time we talk, that's all you want to talk about is knives. Okay, I'll stop talking about knives. What do you want to talk about? Steak or swords? Because those are the only other things I got. Really, like, oh, I love steak. You want to talk about swords? We're talking about pew-pews, firearms. And I'm like, it's kind of the same thing. Like, I get it. I mean, it's kind of it's like I at least enough know to go, okay, we'll talk about something else. Smoke a joint, watch cartoons. Like that sounds like a better idea. So I don't know if you guys can hear it. I think my daughter just jumped in the shower. So yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't care either way. I don't want, here's my take on it. The big thing and the reason that I stop supporting these companies. It's not that I don't support like their activism. If they want to be activists, that's fine. I don't care. I just don't want to have to pay for it. Like, I don't want to have that upcharge because there's no reason it should cost me like, you see how much fucking Starbucks costs? You know why? Starbucks, because they're paying for activism. If you want to support that, that's fine. I just personally, I just don't think it should cost $8 for a poorly prepared cup of coffee. How's your right arm and nerves? It's not bad. And I honestly am trying to get into I'm trying to take tomorrow to sharpen. That's why I filmed so much today, because I knew that I couldn't sharpen all day because I had to take the kid to school. I had to run some errands. I had to go pick some stuff up at my buddy Tino's house. I actually I resigned from the company I was working for. They kept me on the books forever. There's just not much chance with the health issues I've got that I'm going to be able to come back. The company agrees. I had to sign my resignation paperwork from the company, make sure that I didn't owe them anything. They didn't owe me anything. I took no benefits. So I just knew I wasn't going to be able to sharpen today, but I was able to film from about 6 o'clock this morning till about 1. And then I had to take my daughter to school and I had to try and turn her phone in and do all that other stuff. Then I had to pick her up. So tomorrow, my plan is to try and get as far as I can through the 3 boxes of stuff up there for sharpening. 2 of them are like shoebox size. So yeah, I'm hoping I can get partway through it, but we'll see. Like, I got to play it by ear, because the other thing too is my wife keeps getting called in for overtime. She is the only other person at her work that can do her manager's job. She's like the assistant manager at the school. So I like, if I have to pick my daughter up or take her places, it's just it's I try to get stuff done, but like it's been really hectic lately. And then Friday I have to make sure I have everything filmed and ready to go, because I have to leave here at like 5 in the morning, because my daughter's best friend is having her birthday, and my daughter's friend is, her family's really rich, and they decided that she could have her birthday with a limited group of friends at Disneyland. And so I'm like, I was like, I'm gonna have to say no, I can't afford a ticket. They're like, no, we're getting the tickets. It's just her and 2 other people. So they're getting the tickets. And so all I have to do, I have to drive my daughter to Disneyland. They're all staying together up there. So they're going to be at Disneyland, and we bought matching. They all have matching shirts. So I'm driving her up, and I'm giving her money for food and everything. So Friday, I have to drive all the way up to LA, all the way back. And then on Saturday, I have to drive all the way up to LA, and all the way back. So I'm looking at, it would have been almost cheaper just to go to the park than to pay it would have been cheaper for me just to go up, hang out at the park, hang out with them, and then drive back the next day. It would have been cheaper. But yeah, she doesn't, here's the thing. So because she's a skater, her best friend lives, her best friend lives in LA. So it's a virtual friendship. They're skating friends. They talk daily, like constantly. They're like, I cannot go to my daughter's room without her little friend Zoe telling me hi, because she's FaceTime with my daughter. Literally, if my daughter's not on the ice, not exercising, not doing school, she's talking to her friend Zoe. And I'm like, okay. So they're really good friends. They don't get to see each other, but about physically in person, they get to see each other like twice a year. So they went to Knott's Berry Farms. I took her to Knott's Berry Farm with her friends. So they did that for a day. And then they are having her birthday in Disney. So they're in Massachusetts right now. So no buts. Thanks. She's baby girl open for more friends. I don't know. I would love to go to Disney. That's another one of those things. I don't agree with everything Disney's doing. So I'm not supporting them financially. So, but my daughter, like I said, she's going to spend the day up there on Friday. So it's cool for her. They're going to get there when they open. They're going to do a bunch of stuff. I got to give her some cash. I don't know if you guys know this. Like, we used to use gift cards, like the Disney gift cards. And so we were going to order some gift cards and get them overnighted from Amazon. And all you do is you just however much money, and then you take it to Disneyland. And I saw so many people online that were saying, don't buy the gift cards, because by the time you scratch them, somebody's already skipped them and scammed them somewhere. Like there's somebody somewhere at Amazon or something that's getting the numbers off of them and using them and then put them back. So you're paying for cards that are already empty. And I was like, really? And there was like literally hundreds of people. So I was like, let's get a prepaid, oh my goodness. That caught me off guard. That caught me off guard, honey bear. I like that. So, but what I was saying was, so I was like, all right, we'll get her a prepaid one-time use gift card, not gift card, but like a prepaid Visa. And the same thing, like it comes preloaded, and people were like, I got it, and it said it had already been emptied, it had already been used. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm sending her with cash. So it sucks though, because if I send her to Knott's, we got to figure something out. Knott's Berry Farm does not do cash. They don't accept cash anymore. So it's no idea how dumb I sound right now. Well, the fact that if you were to look at your previous posts, I'm like, I'm not 100% sure that's English. Yeah, you definitely got me. You definitely got me on that. So yeah, there's some cool stuff in from Jared, and I think I'm going to do a full video about the custom sea snake that came in from my buddy David after I do the repair on the tip because he decided to drop it. No, it never. It honestly, I really don't think it ever did. You know what? I'm conflicted. I'm conflicted about everything out here because while I don't like a lot of the rules and regulations and things like that, there is one flip side to everything that about it, and that is that
This is the reason I hate snow.
I didn't realize that you guys were dealing with echo the entire time. I had this thing set up and I had the echo filter on. So you guys were hearing. You guys were hearing an echo, weren't you? Were you? Well, you're not now. Were you guys hearing an echo? I don't like snow. Like I'm good with it not snowing. Cash is legal tender, and can it really be refused? Yes. Just because it's legal tender doesn't mean I have to accept it. Case in point, you can go to a store with a bag of pennies to pay for something. They don't have to accept pennies. Even though it's legal tender, it does not have to be accepted. I think a lot of that rule went away when they went to centralized banking. So it's no longer like a federal thing. It's separated from the government. It's now controlled by a bank. So paper money is actually part of the Federal Reserve. So coins and legal tender. Yes, but you don't have, that doesn't mean you should have to take it. Like I could run a business and say that I'm only going to accept payment in donkeys. Don't think I get a lot of business. Not a lot of donkeys laying around, but I'm just saying, like I can set whatever rules I want for the business. There are companies that do that. Like they won't take cash. I will tell you in Japan for the about 2 years, there were so many people hoarding pennies in the country that you couldn't get getting pennies overseas. The price of a penny and then the shipping it takes to get pennies overseas was so prohibitive, it just was costing all the banks and everybody money. So they stopped using pennies. So they rounded everything up to the nearest 5 cents. Well, and I was like, well, that's not fair. They're like, what do you mean? I was like, because this is $1.92 and you're charging me $1.95. They're like, yeah. I'm like, no, you should charge me $1.90. You don't round everything up. You're making 3 cents on every dollar. If it's $1.93, you can round up. If it's $1.84, you round up. If it's below the halfway point, you always round down. And they're like, well, that's not how we do it. I'm like, then I'm bringing pennies. They're like, we don't accept pennies. It's like, I'm bringing pennies. And I was told that they didn't have to accept the pennies that I had because I had a jar full of pennies at the house. So it's one of those things. Like they did that for like 2 or 3 years and enough people complained. Basically what they did was they rounded the price down to the nearest whole. So they didn't have that problem. So if it was $1.95, it stayed at $1.95. It was $1.94, it went all the way down to $1.90 because the exchange, they don't have as many prices. Like it was weird. So what? I can't pay a hooker $200 in pennies. It's not America anymore. You want your business to accept only. So, okay, so from what I understand, Knott's did it for a couple reasons. The handling of cash and stuff like that with all the COOF stuff, people were worried about, oh, you're going to transmit, whatever. The other one is, the fact is that the amount of time for all these little, like, if you go to Knott's Berry Farm amusement parks, and you have all these little kiosks, the amount of time it takes to do the count out for like literally hundreds of small little shops throughout the park. I mean, yeah, it's their job, but the fact is, like, that is a cost in itself. You have someone that gets paid for that. So the fact is that they really didn't have they really didn't have the numbers of people, because there were so few visitors that they just didn't have people that were working, and a lot of people didn't come back to work and things like that. And so that position's been done away with. The people that would do the money counting, the money transfer, all those things, definitely that saves the company money by using it. That, I mean, not at all trying to say it's a conspiracy theory what you said, but I'm just saying that that's not the reason they said. They have to shuttle change and count drawers, loss prevents. Yeah, exactly. And so there's a lot of stuff that goes with it. It's not like you're running it's not like you're just running like one set of cash registers at like a Walmart where you got like, well, there's only ever like 2 open, and then you've got all the other things. So like that whole cash transfer and change back and forth, and because you'll see it like you'll see the guy at the lemonade stand like, hang on a second, I got to walk over here, and he'll get change from the stand across, and then back and forth. And you're right, there's a lot of time, counts, the loss prevention, all that stuff is absolutely a cost. And by not accepting cash, here you go. Somebody said that they didn't accept cash. Yeah, Pitt, side conversation, where I mentioned they did not take cash at the Indy 500. Yeah. Well, the rich man knives big brass one made me think of you. I don't know what we're talking about. Jeez, I haven't watched Jared's video yet. I'm still upset. I'm still upset that I didn't get to go to the show. And like I said, it's no one's fault. It's not like I'm going to blame, like, oh, it's these people's fault, and they didn't explain to me the idea of the trip, so I didn't make secondary plans. And I'm not going to say that I'm like real upset that I didn't get asked to go as a company rep again this time. I'm a little bit upset because I kind of got fibbed to about like what was happening. But the fact is, even if I had gotten invited, and even if there had been room in the car with everybody that went, and even if there had been room at the house where everybody was at, I couldn't have gone anywhere. I wasn't allowed to fly. So let's see. Anything interesting going on? I've got to get, I am going to film a video probably, I might do it tomorrow. I'm going to sharpen that cheap knife that I'm sending to Tri-State, and then I got to send the one I'm not sharpening to Jared so that he can sharpen it. What wasn't a lack of change in Revelations? I don't know what we're talking about here. I got a funny question. I've heard stories you've told of your father and wife. Who's more scary? Oh, Jesus. Well, my wife, because she sleeps with me, and I have to sleep there. And the fact is that that's terrifying. Like my dad was pretty scary. Like there's a phrase my dad would use from time to time that to this day would probably still strike fear in my heart if I heard it. And that phrase was, he'd come up real close and he'd get close to you and he'd look at you and be grinning. And he goes, "Wait till we get home." And you're like, and so you'd go out and the rest of the afternoon, whatever you're doing, he'd be having fun. He'd look at you and he'd be like giggling and having fun. And he'd turn and look at you and go, "I didn't forget." You're like, fuck. And we get home and you come in the house, my mom and my sister, to get everything. He's like, you get ready to go upstairs. Oh, hey boy, where do you think you're going? And you start taking off that belt and you're like, fuck. Why couldn't my dad smoke weed? Like he'd do it all nonchalant. I'm not gonna say he never drugged me out of it's not like he never drugged me out of a place, but like given the option, like he would just wait till we got home. Like when I was younger, he would drag me outside and spank my ass in the parking lot because like when you're younger, you got to have that instant. It's like animals. If you don't punish an animal for something they do when they do it, and I'm not saying beat your dog. I'm saying like if you don't do some sort of discipline on a dog when they do something that moment and you wait, they're not going to know what you're upset about. They don't know what they did wrong. They don't have that kind of memory. Like people are like, oh, you just rub your dog's nose in it. I'm like that dog shit on that carpet 3 hours ago. That dog has no idea why you're upset. That dog does not know what you're doing it for. That dog has no recollection of what happened. None. That dog acting guilty is only responding to the output you're putting out, which you look angry. And now the dog knows, fuck, he's mad and I don't know why. Little kids are like that. If you're going to discipline a kid, you don't wait. You don't go like when you're like 4 or 5 years old, you don't tell that kid wait till we get home. It doesn't work like that. That's not how a kid's brain is wired when they're younger. You got to treat them like a pet, like a dog. But a 10-year-old, you can absolutely like, oh yeah, oh, we're not doing this here. I'm not going to take you outside and beat you right now. I'll wait till we get to the house. I'll blister your ass. And my dad never beat me. He didn't beat me. Like there's a difference between discipline and abuse. Big difference. Like I always knew. Like my dad never wanted to beat my ass. Never wanted to. He fucking hated it. He told me later. He's like, I fucking hated every second of it. It's like, it's just going to hurt you more than it hurts me. No, it was the opposite. It's going to hurt me more than it hurts you. I disagreed with that a lot because I'm like, really? Because I'm the one getting my ass beat. Must have gotten caught a lot. Here's the thing. It wasn't a matter of getting caught. I lived in a town of 124 people. There were only like 8 other kids my age. If something got fucked up and it was on our property, there was a 99.95% chance that my dad knew who did it. And I wasn't sly. I wasn't real sly about doing shit. Like my dad would be watching me. He's like, I can't believe the fuck I'm watching. He just look at me and go, so you really, that's what you're going to do right now? Like, that's the shit you got. I bought a pack of cigarettes in front of my dad. Like we went into a convenience store and we're walking around and I grabbed a pack of cigarettes. Back in the day, cigarettes, you could just grab your own pack of cigarettes. I tossed it up on a counter for him to pay for it. He turned and looked at me. I was like, huh, what the fuck goes on in your head, boy? Like, what the fuck are you thinking? I was like 16. And guess what? He bought them. He goes, that's the last pack of cigarettes that you're ever going to have. I'm like, okay. So I started chewing tobacco. I was like, he looked at me. He's like, I tossed a pack of cigarettes up on the counter. Like he paid for them and looked at me like with a look of complete and utter awe. Like, I can't believe what the fuck I just saw. How does one walk with balls that big? And he bought them. Like he paid for them. He's like, yeah, how much trouble I can get it for buying those for you? And I was like, you bought them. Like you didn't have to. You could have just taken them right off the counter and put it there and just looked at the. I used to. Breeze, I was probably the only customer who would stop at the what was it? There was a motel right next to the Catholic school that I had gotten sent to because I got kicked out of public school for a while. I would go to this hotel and I would walk into the lobby and I would use their old pull lever, the old like clear plastic had been yellowed over years of use by dirty, grubby truck driver hands and mechanic hands because there was a machine shop right across the street. I would go to that motel and I would buy cigarettes every Friday. And I would go with enough money that I could buy 4 packs of cigarettes. So I would go with $4 in quarters. That's right. I remember when pack of cigarettes was $1. I remember when cigarettes were $1 and gas was 99 cents a gallon. Cost me $70 to fill my Volkswagen diesel up, and I was on a quarter of a tank. It don't have a very big tank. It cost me $70 to fill up. I wasn't even empty. I was not even empty. And then they got rid of that machine. I was really upset. I was like, how the fuck do I buy cigarettes now? But then one of my friends from high school started working as a cashier at the newsstand just down the road. So Friday nights, I'd drive downtown. I'd drive downtown and we'd all like take our cars. We'd all cruise around parking lots, hang out, and just mill about town, and go to the bowling alley and hang out, get something to eat, just hang out. People get in it. To tell you the truth, it was a lot like Dazed and Confused. It honestly was. It was like Dazed and Confused. If there wasn't a party somewhere, we were all just cruising around, drinking beer out of each other's cars, drinking homemade wine. I had a friend that would fucking always get a bottle of his dad must have bought cases of Yukon Jack. And like every Friday, this motherfucker would show up with a bottle of Yukon Jack. And he would take the top off of it. He's like, you want a taste? Called him Tasty Tim. Everybody fell for it. This motherfucker would hand you a bottle of Yukon Jack, and he'd have the cap in his hand, and he'd grin at you, toss it over his shoulder. He's like, oh, shucks, I lost the cap. We got to drink it all. And I'm like, if there's like 4 or 5 of you, no big deal. It's just you and him in a parking lot. You're like, I'm fucked. So that's what it was like. I mean, it was literally like Dazed and Confused. That's what we do. You couldn't do that now. I can't afford to do that. But every Friday night, that's what we do. And every Friday night, I would go and I'd buy 4 packs of cigarettes. 4 packs of cigarettes would last me from Friday to Friday. And I would literally stop at that motel every Friday with $4 in quarters. And I would fill up my gas tank just around the corner at the gas station. And I would have 4 packs of cigarettes. I'd put them in my glove box. I'd go hang out. We had a 78 Chrysler Baron. I had a 78 Chrysler Baron that would seat 8 comfortably. And it would seat 12 uncomfortably. I used to do that shit. It was like literally like Dazed and Confused, fucking driving around. We'd go to there was one place that would sell beer to anybody that didn't fucking care. So we fucking all fill up, like we'd have beer in our cars and shit. Cops didn't fucking look for us. They didn't know what we were doing. They didn't care. I mean, I think they did know. They just didn't care. Man, that was a lot of fun. Any fighting stories in my younger days? You know what? I have one, and I'm not going to tell it. I'll tell you what, Spaz and Ace, if you were a paying member, I would do a live feed just for the paying members and tell the story about the fight that I had where someone lost a finger. That's some stuff that we don't talk about on here anymore because YouTube does not like the kind of stories that I would tell. So I would, it's not something I want to talk about on here anymore. Now that I get paid to do this. So no, it was a lot of fun. We used to do that shit all the time. I never really got in a lot of fights. I did get in fights. Most of the fights I got in were after I joined the Navy, hence the really crooked nose. I basically got in bar fights for a hobby for a few years. It was fun. We used to do it. We'd get fights with Marines, hang out. Like by the time the night was over, it was like bonding. We'd get in fights and then. Well, I was a cop's kid. We're always the worst. But I never really got in fights. I did dumb stuff. Like one time we made a noisemaker. And when I say we made a noisemaker, I mean we took a piece of pipe. Jesus, I don't think I should tell this story either. Took a piece of pipe and we welded a half of a D-ring on the side of it with my dad's welder. And we took the threaded cap and we filed the threaded end and we filed the threads off. And we screwed the bottom cap on and we welded it shut, like tight. And then the cap that we had was a smooth cap, and we would hammer that cap on. We'd drill a hole in it. We'd fill that thing up like with like the second red line on a solo cup with black powder. And run a piece of cannon fuse down, and we'd pound that top on, and it had a chain, and that D-ring the cable was welded to the D-ring. What's up, Scotty? And so it was welded to the D-ring, and so you had a cap, and then the cable was welded to the actual, like it had a grommet. So the welded D-ring was on the side of this like 1-inch piece of pipe, And so we had welded that D-ring on, and then we ran the cable through and put a grommet on it, and then welded that together, and then welded the other end of the cable to that slick cap, and then we had filed the threads off the pipe. He pounded on, and we had a long piece of wire, like speaker wire, or I can't remember, it was like speaker wire, or it might have been 550 cord or something. And we would set that thing up, we'd run the wire back, and we'd light the fuse, and we'd lean it up against something, and it would blow that cap off, but it wouldn't go anywhere, and it would set off car alarms, and it would rattle windows. We'd drag that thing back, and we'd put it in the car, and then we would just take off. Because we were pretty far away. I mean, like, we'd be like 100 feet away, light that fuse, run, and then you pull it back, put it in the trunk, take off. We'd do that all over the place. And so we had done that for a while, and I came home one time, and my dad was like, we were talking about it, like, hey, you remember that noisemaker we made with the pipe and everybody? And they were like, huh. My dad's like, I was like, oh, you guys could just shut the fuck up about that, because my dad never knew. And they were like, he was like, yeah, Mike did all the welding. And he was like, oh, he did. Where did all this welding occur? Like, oh, the little shed next by the old house, behind the house. He's like, oh, really? So you basically used my welder, your father being a cop, to commit a felony. And I was like, maybe. And he was like, he's like, I never could figure out how you were involved in that. He's like, but I fucking knew. And I was like, how'd you know? He's like, because when you left to join the Navy, it all stopped. The second you little shitheads all left and went to college or joined the military, it all stopped. And I was like, yeah, it was us. If you can't fill it, if you can't fix it. Oh, Scotty, I forgot to give you one of these. If you can't fix it with baling wire, duct tape, a drill, and a Lincoln welder, you need to fucking buy a new one. It's ruined. It is ruined, and there's nothing you can do with it. What's this? Heck yeah. Made a lot of those. As you started this, I'm thinking this is going nowhere good. You're right. You're absolutely right. But there's a story. We can talk about a story about a time I got to fight. We'll do it on a members only live feed. I might do one of those this weekend because my wife just is talking about, if I'm here, my wife is talking about, I'm going to take the kid up on Friday. She's going to pick the kid up on Saturday. So that might be something that happens. I honestly don't like her driving. Her tires aren't the greatest. I don't know if I want her driving all the way to LA and back. I might just go both days because I have brand new tires on my car. So I might actually do that. What is this? Gas needs to be put in something cool. 28 Ford. What? Miss your story of family. Oh, fuck. I learned how to make you guys remember hearing about the Works drain cleaner and aluminum pie pan, the Works drain cleaner. In a 2-liter bottle with the cap screwed down. You ever heard of that story? Oh my God. That was a shocking turn of events the first time we ever tried that. I was like, what the fuck just happened? What did we just do? That was a violent act. That's what it was. It's muriatic acid, hydrochloric acid. So hydrochloric acid, aluminum in a confined area, aluminum and hydrochloric acid, because the Works drain cleaner was hydrochloric acid, it generates hydrogen gas at an extremely high rate of speed. And it'll make a 2-liter soda bottle about that big before it finally makes an earth-shattering noise and throws clumps of dirt and shit fucking sky. I was like, why is there still dirt falling out of the sky? What did we just do? Like, I've done a lot of dumb shit. That was terrifying. Let's do it again. You had to use the thicker pie pans. You had to use the thicker pie. No, we didn't. We de-escalated. Like, that was we had already done the pipe thing. And we were like, ooh, hey, this is like, we'll try this. Let's see if this is something that we want to add to our repertoire of havoc creation. And we did that once, and I was like, I don't like that. That's Like, that's dangerous. Like, that's going to get someone hurt. That's somebody's going to be opening somebody's ketchup bottles for them for the rest of their lives. I don't like that. Like that, even for me, like all the dumb shit I've done that's me going, I think that's a bad idea. If you hear me saying it's a bad idea, it's probably a horribly bad idea. I'm the poster child for poor decisions. If you hear me say, I don't think that's a good idea, you should probably fucking listen. It's true. Ask anybody that's friends with me. Or like, Mike said it's a bad idea. They're like, ooh, we probably shouldn't do that. And like, really, like if I look at something and I'm like, ooh, hold up. Oh, hey guys. And they're like, what? And I'm like, I'm seeing some issues with this. They're like, oh shit. Like, let's rethink our plans. It's a big time no-no for me to say it's a bad idea. Okay, there's Nico. Nico can vouch for this. Nico, I was just talking about the fact that like I've done some dumb stuff, but we had done something once, and I was like, I don't think we should do that. I don't think that's safe. If I tell you, hey guys, hold up a second, I don't think this is a good idea, what would your immediate response be? Now we have to wait. Yeah, it's it's the original Johnny Knoxville. I read. So we had a barn, and we had the big barn, and then you had this little offshoot. You listen hard. You're like, we shouldn't do that ever, 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 ever. So the barn had the the main body of the barn with the 2-layer hay loft, and then we had the old tack room and shop, and so it had its own roof, which was pretty steep. And then there was a hill, so you got to figure. So the roof came down like this, the hill came down like this, and they met. And there was an area where I was going to try and ride my bicycle off and onto the hill and then pedal up the hill. And this is a pretty steep hill, but what I didn't think about was the fact that all these big rocks, and anybody that's been on a farm, let me ask you a question. Where do all these rocks keep coming from? Like we plowed that same field probably 50 times. It felt like 100. Every time you would plow that field, we would come up with rocks the size of your head, the size of this box. And I'm like, where do they keep coming from? Like, didn't we pull these all out last year when we did this? You do it twice a year. You roll it at the end of the season, and then you roll it again in the beginning. I'm like, why is there still so many rocks? And so we drag these rocks down. We put them in the gap in between the barn and the hill, and we just fill in that area where there was always water running off the barn to like prevent like the hill from wearing down. So at any rate, I climb up on the barn with my bicycle, and I'm gonna ride my bicycle, and I'm gonna jump off the edge of the barn onto the hill, and then I'm gonna try and pedal up the hill on my BMX bike. This was my plan. My grandfather comes out and he goes, I didn't do that. I was like, why? He's like, big rocks down there. That's all he said. He's like, I didn't do that. And I didn't listen, and I didn't build enough speed. And so when I came off the edge of that barn, I dropped right off into them big old rocks that my grandfather had warned me about. And he looked at me and goes, I'll get your grandma, we'll go to the hospital. Jumped out of a hayloft with an umbrella, thinking I just watched Mary Poppins, and me and my cousin were fucking around, and we found an umbrella, an old rusty umbrella. It was all fucked up and like barely had anything on it. Like, we're gonna jump out of the hayloft. So we scraped up a bunch of hay at the bottom because you don't want to jump down onto the fucking wood boards and dirt. And so I went first, and we'd leaned a pitchfork that we scraped up all the loose hay with, so we had a soft landing pad, and leaned it up against the wall right next to the ladder. Jumped out of the chute, down past the ladder, and that umbrella went about that long before, and I went, oh! Now, when I say we leaned the pitchfork against the wall, I didn't say we put the forks down, and I proceeded to run a pitchfork through my hand all the way through. And I couldn't pull it out, and my cousin was scared to pull it out, so we walk up the hill out of the barnyard to the house, and my grandmother was like, "Oh, what did you do?" And I'm like, "Pitch," and I have a pitchfork all the way through my hand, like that much of it. And so she looks at me, and she's like, "Well, why didn't you pull it out?" I couldn't. It hurt so bad. I was like, I couldn't even talk. I was like, pretty sure I peed. I'm like, so my grandmother runs in the house, and she comes out with some cotton gauze and a little jar, and I didn't pay attention to what it was. And she proceeded to put the cotton up against the back of my hand and yank the pitchfork out, yank that cotton off, and put that bottle of iodine directly upside down and pour it right through the hole in my hand. And I was like, and if I hadn't peed yet, pretty sure that's the moment that I peed myself. And things went a little fuzzy. Couldn't see real good. Went a little weak. I laid down on the concrete slab at the bottom of the steps. She's like, "Quit fucking around in the barn," and walked back in the house. That's one of the only times I ever heard my grandmother utter the F word. "Quit fucking around in the barn," and just walked back in the house. Left me out there laying there like with cotton. Just like, put cotton on it and hold that. And I'm like, I remember when I was 12, I jumped a moving haunted hayride to be funny, but what I didn't think about was the truck was doing 40 miles an hour at 12 a.m. and in the middle of the woods. That's not good. Did you see him ragdoll? I'm not sure. I can't remember if it was, I don't think it was iodine. I think we had established that I was allergic to the iodine, the topical iodine treatments, which is why I can't eat shellfish. No, that I actually didn't start to have that allergy until I was in my teens. But at any rate, yeah, it was either methylate or mercurochrome. That's what it was. It's mercurochrome. It burned a lot. It just Basketball. That's a good movie. I'm gonna have to watch that. It was mercurochrome. Mercurochrome. Yeah, mercurochrome. That stuff burned. Methylate burned too. Tincture of methylate. My grandmother loved that stuff. Put it on everything. That and cow salve. You guys don't know what cow salve is? Cow salve is. Ken, I still have not done your knives. That's my plan for tomorrow, is to get your knife is up on the list of the second set of things that I sharpen tomorrow. I was just talking about that. I've just been nuts here between medical stuff and then me trying to die, then not being able to use my right arm real well. It's just been a shit show. Methylate. So what cow salve was? So you've seen bag balm. No, it's not bag balm. I was getting ready to tell you, it's not bag balm. Bag balm is just lanolin. It's just just concentrated lanolin, and you put it on, and it prevents. It's like a waterproof setting. Cow salve you used on their sores and stuff that get on their legs and stuff. It looked a lot like it looked a lot like just a hand cream, but you could smell it, and it had like my wife has something that I swear to God is the same thing, the same ceramic tub, brown top, but this was called cow salve, and you would use it on cow sores, and it had an antiseptic to it. Like bag balm is just literally just for like cracks and things from dry skin, and you can use it on your hands. Cow salve was actually medicinal, and we would use the cow salve. Like if you couldn't fix it with methylate and cow salve, you were screwed. Like you just like, oh, you're gonna lose that arm. Like if cow salve and methylate didn't fix it, you're probably gonna have it cut off. Like you're gonna have to amputate. Well, you can take you down to the barnyard, cut the thing off with a hatchet. If that didn't work, you're pretty much done. So, rubbing alcohol. Oh, Vicks. Yeah, I was gonna say Vicks. If your grandmother give you, if you got sick, my grandmother was famous. She'd like make you put Vicks on, and then she would take a hand towel, like a hand, like no joke, like a tea towel, like a hand towel, and she put it around your neck like bandana style, and safety pin it in the back, and put that on top of it, and then make you put your shirt on top of it. So now you're like greasy, you're running a fever, it's itchy because we air dried all our shit on a clothesline, and we didn't use fabric softener because fuck, that's expensive, and we're poor, and so you got this rough. It was like this. That's what it felt like because that's plastic, and it would just like put that shit on, and it was just like sticking to you, and it's all rough. And she's like, "All right, now go to bed, go to sleep." And you're like, "How am I gonna go to sleep?" And sure as shit, I would go upstairs, just wake up, and she's like, "You're not going to school. You're sick." And you would get up there, and you would lay down. There's no way I'm gonna go to sleep. Sure as shit, I don't know what she put in that juice that she gave me. I'd be knocked the fuck out for the entire day. Wake up, and I'm like all sweaty, and she's like, "Oh, your fever broke." I'm like, "Wow, I feel better." Vinegar for sunburns. That's another one, and I don't know how that works, but it fucking does. I don't know how it works, but if you've got a sunburn, put some white vinegar in a spray bottle and put that shit on the sunburn, and it takes the fire right out of it. I don't know how it works, because to me, I don't think it should, but it fucking does. I got such a bad sunburn on tops of my legs one summer out at the river where we used to camp. And my grandmother, she's like, "Oh, sit still." And I'm not gonna lie, it felt like she had put acid on my legs. She sprayed that sunburn with rubbing, which is regular alcohol, or not alcohol, regular white vinegar in a spray bottle. And I'm not kidding. It like that, like it stopped burning. I was able to sleep. Like I was like, I'm not gonna be able to sleep. My legs are all burnt. They were bad. They were like the color. They were like the color of Breeze Rashford's thing there. Sprayed that shit with vinegar, and it burned. Good God, did it burn? And then she sprayed it again before bed. I woke up the next morning. I was like, it's like I never had a sunburn. Quit fucking around in the barn. It should be. I should get a shirt. Oh, guys, there's a coffee cup coming that you guys are going to love. I've wanted one for a long time. Somebody's sending it to me. They have asked to remain anonymous, but I got I'm a fucking ray of sunshine coffee cup coming. That's what it says. It's a yellow cup with black letters that says, "I'm a ray of fucking sunshine." And I could not be happier. Because, I'm not gonna lie, there's been some shit happening with Black Rifle Coffee Company, and I'm not 100% sure I'm going to continue to support them. Don't necessarily like the way that they just, like I said, you can have any opinions you want, but if you start espousing them and I got to pay for that shit, and you're raising prices because you're not selling as much shit, guess what? I'd stop buying your coffee, and I'll stop promoting your brand. I got to have one. So apparently you can get them. They come in black with yellow letters or yellow with black letters, and I'm like, that would be great. That's the one I used it. I found a picture of it that I had taken at a Spencer's Gifts, because that's where the individual that got it for me got it from. So, and then hopefully my sister is sending me a box with a couple of really awesome knives that were my father's that we're going to take a look at, and we'll have those on the channel, and they're going to be part of my permanent collection. I have a knife that my father made, and a knife that my father bought that I have wanted to have in my collection for a long time. So yeah, expect to see this. Guys, it's been 2 hours. I really have got to, I got to cut this short. I've got other stuff I want to do. I still have editing to do. I still have a video to film tonight, and it's 9:30 at night. So I am going to end this. So it's 10 o'clock almost here, or 9:30 almost here, I should say. And I want to tell my kid good night. So kid night, I don't know if I told you guys this. We got like a minute left before I end this. The kid and I went, I was going to end it like an hour ago. The kid and I went to the base. She got a brand new phone, so she broke her phone. So we were trying to transfer all the information from her old phone to her new phone, and we decided we were both going to leave our phones here. I turned my Apple Watch onto cellular, so if I had to take any calls. And we had an afternoon with no distractions, no social media, no music, no nothing, just her and I hanging out. And then we went over and got lunch and came back. And she was like, "I haven't had Panera Bread. Can we go?" And she walked in and she turned and looked at me and she's like, "Let's go." She grabbed my arm. I was like, "What?" She goes, "They're cookies." I'm like, "What?" yeah, those are cookies. She's like, no, did you see the price? I was like, no. She's like, those cookies are $10 each. I was like, I'm not buying a $10 fucking cookie. And she's like, yeah, you're not buying a $10 sandwich either. Let's go. And I was like, good kid. She's like, I'm not. She's like, the food here can't. She's like, they have 2 sandwiches, macaroni and cheese, and a bunch of soup, and $10 cookies. She's like, I don't care how good it is. It's not $10 is not a cookie. It's not worth $10. And I was like, where do you want to go? She's like, let's go over to Jersey Mike's. So I had Jersey Mike's. We had Jersey Mike's for lunch the other day. And I'm not gonna lie, my stomach shrunk from being sick because I weighed myself. I think I've lost 27 pounds in like 2.5 weeks. A lot of like liquid. I've been on a liquid diet, but I can have some solid food. And Jersey Mike's is one of the ones I could. So I had half of a Jersey Mike's sub. Typically, I would have had a whole. My stomach is shrunk enough. I was uncomfortably full. Like I literally, no joke. There's a picture of me. I'll get her to send it to me, and I might post it up on the Gilded server. She took a picture of me laying on the floor in the garage, like curled up, and I'm like, I was so full. Like I was like, I just can't even. I don't even want to get. I just laid on the floor here in the garage for like 15, 20 minutes. So, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Rocky Mountain Bear, yeah. Well, I try to tell her. I was like, my dad and I always thought we had all the time in the world. The whole time I was in the military, I didn't come home very often. Then I retired and I took that high energy job for the government. And I was like, we've always got time. We'll do something later. You know, we always got time. And it was always, we'll get around to it. We'll get around to hanging out. And then my dad passed. And I was like, he got so sick. I was like, right before he passed, I was like, I wasted all those years that I could have spent time with my father. And I told her, I was like, don't do that. That's the biggest regret I have, is not spending time with my father when I had time to spend with my father. And I see her getting to that point where she acts like she's like me. She's like, I don't want to spend time with my dad. And I was like, you got to fight that, because I don't want either of us to have that. Like, guys, my family, the men in my family, we don't have a long shelf life. 62 to 65, like that's it. I'm already 47, almost 48. Like, we don't have a lot of those years, and I don't want her to live with that feeling of regret like I do, that I could have spent more time with my father and didn't. So she has a prime opportunity. I'm retired. I'm like, do this. This is my YouTube channel. I do this. It's not making a lot of money right now, but at least it's making some money. And this is what I can do right now. And the fact is, I'm always home. So like we made the decision that she and I are going to do that as often as we can. We missed a chance Sunday. I was going to do some stuff with her here at the house. We just watched TV, and we just both got busy, and I wanted to get stuff done because I want to get caught. I want to get back ahead. So if something does happen, there's still content going up, because, you know, that's how I make money. So if you guys still have your dads, just give them a call, because nothing sucks worse than having lost my dad and forgetting and having a conversation with somebody. We were talking about mead, and they're like, oh man, I'd love to make some mead. And I was like, I know somebody that's got I know somebody that's got a really good recipe. I was like, let me call my dad. Never mind. They're like, what? I was like, my dad's dead. I was getting ready to call my dad and ask him for his recipe for mead, and how much sugar and all that, or how much honey he used per water and how much yeast. And they were like, oh man, that sucks. I was like, yeah, every once in a while you just forget. You forget, and there's something that, like, oh, I should call the old man, and like, that's when it just kicks you in the guts. Like, you'll go months and months and months and not think about the fact that you've lost someone, because it kind of does wane, and you have those memories and stuff like that. And so as you get further away from it, you don't think about it as much. But then there's those moments when you're like, man, dad would have loved to see this, or shit, I could have, like, I just wish I could call dad today. So if you've got your parents and you still get a chance, spend some time with them. Don't, that really sucks. Like, I saw my dad in the 20 years from the time I left home till the time it was about 20 years. Like 30 years since I graduated this year. I maybe saw my dad 5 times. And that really sucks, because my dad was like my best friend. And so not to be able to have that available, we called and talked all the time, but just not to be able to see my father, and to realize I lost all those chances to do it, to go see him, because we always thought there'd be more time for hunting trips and fishing trips and stuff. And I was coming up on retirement. So if you got a chance, give your parents a call tonight. Tell them you love them. I call my mom. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm out.